a church that's not just for a certain set of very discipled, very long-standing churchgoers, but for everybody, a lot of the way in is not to change your content. Again, particularly if your content is you revealing how you are experiencing Jesus in a unique and interesting way. It's your language. And it's very hard to realize how our language has been shaped by our own many decades of churchgoing. And so, at least in America, people don't even realize how they speak comes from a certain sort of history with churches. And if the same person were at work talking to coworkers, or they were at a dinner party with neighbors who are not churchgoers, they wouldn't use those words, but they do use them in church. What we found in the States is very few people are aware. The whole way people speak is richly imbued with a long-standing history of church-going, such that when anybody from outside shows up, they're repelled because they feel like there's some sort of code here, and I have no idea what that code is. There's a whole set of assumptions that no one's taking me in on. And the key to that is always to become less poetic in how we speak. Even a word like countenance, or a word like it's biblical imagery that we're assuming people will get. So it's realizing you can't even just quote the Bible's metaphorical language without being very plain spoken. So, for instance, if I were going to preach on Jesus saying, "Don't throw your pearls before swine," in the Sermon on the Mount, if I'm not thinking about it as a preacher, I'd have to say, what do I mean when I say "don't throw your pearls before swine"? I can't just say it, because if I say it, the average person who hasn't grown up in churches will say, I promise you, if I ever have a nice necklace of pearls and I see some rampaging pigs, I promise I'm not going to throw them at their feet. You've sold me. That would be a bad idea. But as the preacher, we'd have to say, well, do I even understand what I mean when Jesus says, don't throw your pearls before swine? What are my options? Is he saying, don't talk to someone about Jesus who you know doesn't want to hear it and they're just going to mock you? Is that don't throw your pearls before swine? In which case, just say that second one. Don't say don't, or you have to interpret don't throw your pearls before swine. Is it the most important secrets of your heart? Be careful who you share them with because they could really hurt you. Fine, if that's your point, whatever it is, say the second one. Watch your language because language is easy to miss. That said, I get feedback on my preaching, and at one point, one of the speak normal things I got told was a class-based I'm not speaking normal, is that I would allude to things that had happened to me in college. And I would do that because Cambridge is such a university town. But this one person said, I'm in touch with all these people coming from housing projects. You don't realize how alienating all your college stories are to them. They don't have anybody in their whole history who's been to college. And so if you want to tell that story, don't say, when I was in college, X happened. Say, when I was in my late teens, X happened. Give your personal time frame, but don't give the setting, and that made a huge difference. And so all I'm saying is that's not a secular issue, but that was a class issue. And I think it only comes from people listening to you, and you're getting feedback from a variety of sources about, am I missing? Am I talking in a way to an in-group where I don't even realize it? Speaking to stage 2 is often going to be about speaking to boundaries. In other words, you're going to be saying, here are the rules. Here's how you know you're a good person. Here's how you know you're doing the right thing. Here's how you know that you're a good person and not a bad person. I think in stage 3 preaching, you're going to be speaking to why the rules are terrible and why those people are stupid. In stage 4 preaching, you're just going to be speaking about Jesus and how to find Jesus. And you're going to start seeing the scriptures in terms of, oh, no matter what the passage that you're looking at, and you should be able to speak about any part of the Bible in any of the stages. So it's not saying that stage 2, you're going to be preaching about Paul because Paul's all about rules, and in stage 4 you're going to be preaching about some sort of, I don't know, some story because it's not about rules. Every part of the Bible you could preach any stage from. And so in stage 4, what you're going to be noticing is, how does this passage in the Bible help me connect with Jesus in a way I could miss if I were not thoughtful? It's the way to be centered set. Because in stage 4, I can talk to people who are completely working class, and I can talk to Harvard deans, and they both find it helpful because I'm being concrete. So in stage 4, what I'm saying is, oh, a funny thing happened to me the other day. X, Y, or Z happened. Here was the challenge I faced when it happened to me. here was the possibility in front of me. I talked to God, and God seemed to suggest this. I tried this, and it worked. I would say that sort of preaching is stage 4, because you're coaching people from a concrete case study, your own, using the scriptures in a way to say, here's how to make it work out in actual life. If instead what I'm saying is, here's an opinion you should hold from the scripture, and I'm going to tell you why the opinion is really important, I'm going to be playing to stage 2. And at that point, you're going to be inviting people who do not already hold that opinion to feel on the outside. It's not to say the opinions are not important, but stage 4 relativizes opinions and majors on how do you connect with Jesus.